The wedding was supposed to be a celebration. Lights, music, family, and laughter. A chance to see relatives I hadn't visited in years, to share in the joy of my friend's family milestone. But for me, it quickly became a minefield. A place where every smile, every toast, and every polite conversation felt like a countdown to disaster. I noticed her as soon as she arrived, Lydia, radiant in a champagne-colored dress, moving through the crowd with that effortless charm she always carried. People smiled, nodded, and complimented her, but I felt a pang of unease. Not because of the attention she received, but because of the weight of her presence. A weight I had tried to ignore, dismiss, and bury for months. The night was unfolding normally, or at least it seemed. Toasts were made, glasses raised, and laughter echoed across the hall. Then, the moment I had feared without knowing I was anticipating it came. I walked past the corridor near the restrooms, intending to grab a drink, when I saw her. Lydia was there, in the dim light of the restroom hallway, and what I saw made my stomach knot instantly. She wasn't alone. She was leaning into someone, her head tilted, whispering in a way that I didn't need to hear to understand the betrayal. The intimacy, the secrecy, it was unmistakable. I stopped dead in my tracks, heart racing, pulse pounding. Yet I didn't confront her immediately. There was a reason I waited. I wasn't going to give her the satisfaction of a public scene, of a dramatic breakdown. I had learned over time that control, clarity, and timing mattered far more than anger. For a few seconds I just watched. Lydia didn't notice me yet. She laughed softly, the sound that had once drawn me in now twisting in my chest like knives. The realization hit me. She had betrayed me in the most humiliating public way possible, at her father's wedding. A place meant to honor family, love, and unity. I exhaled slowly, taking a step back. I couldn't let this go. Not silently, not quietly. The night had been poisoned, and I had a decision to make. I would shut it all down, not out of rage but out of clarity. Out of respect for myself and the truth that she clearly no longer valued. With measured steps, I made my way toward the main hall, toward her father's wife, someone who had always respected me and who would understand the situation if I chose the right words. This wasn't about exposing her to shame. It was about confronting the reality she refused to face. I found Mrs. Thompson, her husband's wife, near the center of the room, overseeing the last details of the reception. She turned as I approached, her smile polite but curious, sensing the tension radiating from me. I didn't greet her normally. I didn't make small talk. I simply nodded and leaned closer, lowering my voice so only she could hear. Mrs. Thompson, I need to speak with you privately. It's about Lydia. Her brow furrowed, concern flashing in her eyes. What happened? I took a deep breath, forcing my emotions into control. She betrayed me. Here at this wedding. In the restroom hallway. Her eyes widened and she glanced toward Lydia, who was still mingling, blissfully unaware, or perhaps intentionally ignorant, of what was about to unfold. Mrs. Thompson's expression hardened, a mix of shock and disappointment settling over her features. She what? She whispered, stunned. She was with someone else. Whispering, laughing, hiding herself. I didn't confront her in the moment. I won't humiliate her in public. But I needed you to know because this is not just about me. It's about respect, about family, about the trust she's supposed to uphold. Mrs. Thompson's gaze shifted toward her stepdaughter, her lips pressing into a thin line. I can't believe it. Here of all places. At my husband's wedding. I nodded. Exactly. That's why I came to you first. I need you to understand the gravity before anyone else does. This isn't just a minor mistake. It's deliberate, calculated. And it has consequences. She looked at me, her eyes a mix of sadness and concern. Do you want me to confront her? I shook my head. No. Not yet. I'm shutting it down myself. I'm taking control of the situation. She needs to face the truth. Fully and directly. And she won't get away with hiding behind the crowd, the music, or the celebration. She's going to see the consequences of her actions. Mrs. Thompson nodded slowly, clearly understanding. You're right. You can't let her manipulate the situation or the people around her. You're doing the right thing. I felt a surge of resolve, my anger now tempered by clarity. I wasn't just confronting betrayal. I was reclaiming my dignity, my boundaries, and my voice. For months I had tolerated lies, excuses, and disregard. But tonight that ended. I took one last glance toward Lydia, who laughed softly at something someone said nearby, oblivious to the storm approaching. I could feel the weight of the moment pressing down, the anticipation like a tightening rope, and I knew once I stepped forward, there would be no turning back. I walked across the hall, each step deliberate, feeling every eye on me without needing to look. The laughter, the music, the celebration. All of it faded into background noise. My focus was solely on Lydia, who still hadn't noticed the storm she had brought upon herself. "Lydia," I said, my voice low but carrying enough weight to cut through the chatter around us. She turned, startled by the sudden seriousness, her smile faltering instantly. "David, what are you?" I held up my hand, silencing her before she could stumble into excuses. "Stop. Don't start. This isn't about explanations. This is about the truth. You betrayed me. Here. In a place that was meant to celebrate family, love, trust. And I won't let you pretend it didn't happen." Her face drained of color, the confident composure she had wielded all night slipping away like sand through fingers. It's not what you think," she tried weakly, but I didn't give her the space to lie. "You don't get to talk your way out of this, Lydia," I said. "Every laugh, every joke, every moment you thought you could hide behind, it's over. I've already spoken to Mrs. Thompson. She knows. And she understands what I'm doing." Her eyes widened as the realization hit. She glanced toward her stepmother, who now watched silently, a knowing expression on her face. Lydia's mouth opened and closed, a silent gasp for a defense that wasn't coming. I didn't think," she started, but I shook my head. "No thinking. No excuses. You made your choice. And now you face the consequences. You don't get to manipulate, charm, or deflect anymore. Not here, not tonight, not ever again." Tears welled in her eyes as the magnitude of her betrayal finally landed. The party continued around us, oblivious to the confrontation. But in this small space, the world had narrowed to the truth she could no longer escape. I placed a hand on the stack of papers I had brought with me earlier, a silent reinforcement of the boundaries she had shattered. "This ends tonight," I said. "Not with anger, not with shame, but with clarity. You will see what it means to cross me, and I will not tolerate it again." Lydia's voice broke. "David, please." I turned and walked away, leaving her standing frozen, staring at the proof of her actions and the undeniable truth she had ignored for far too long. As I exited the hall, the music swelled behind me, a stark contrast to the silence of consequences I left in my wake. For the first time in months, I felt a quiet sense of power, control, and liberation. The betrayal had been confronted. The truth had been delivered. And I had reclaimed what was mine, my dignity, my respect, and my boundaries, without giving her a single chance to manipulate them again.